Jesus heals Peter's mother-in-law. Compassion that reaches into an ordinary home. Jesus had been teaching in the synagogue at Capernaum. There, people were amazed by the authority of his words, and an unclean spirit had left a man when Jesus commanded it to come out. But when Jesus left the synagogue, the story moved from a public gathering into an ordinary home. Mark tells us that Jesus went with James and John to the house of Simon and Andrew. Luke also says that Jesus left the synagogue and entered Simon's house. Inside that home, Simon's mother-in-law was lying sick with a fever. Mark says she was in bed with a fever. Matthew says Jesus saw her lying sick. Luke adds that she was suffering from a high fever. The Gospel writers do not tell us exactly what illness caused it. They do not tell us how long she had been sick or what remedies had been tried. We do not need to invent what Scripture does not say. What the text gives us is clear. A woman was sick, and the people around her brought her need to Jesus. Mark says they told him about her at once. Luke says they asked him to help her. This is a quiet scene compared with what had happened in the synagogue. There is no public confrontation and no loud cry. There is simply a household, a sick woman, and people who care enough to speak to Jesus on her behalf. That simplicity matters. We sometimes divide our problems into those that seem important enough to pray about and those that seem too small. A fever inside one house may appear small beside the needs of an entire town. But Jesus did not treat this woman's pain as unimportant. The one who had just taught publicly with authority entered a home and gave his attention to one person lying in bed. The Gospels describe his response in slightly different ways. Mark says Jesus went to her, took her by the hand, and helped her up. Matthew says he touched her hand. Luke says he stood over her and rebuked the fever. Each writer emphasizes a different detail, but the result is the same. The fever left her. Luke says it left immediately. Then she got up and began to serve them. A moment earlier, she had been lying down with a high fever. Now she was standing and returning to ordinary life. The Gospel does not give a medical explanation. It simply shows the authority and compassion of Jesus. This scene is meaningful because of where it happens. The synagogue was public. The house was private. In the synagogue, many people heard Jesus teach. In the house, one woman was sick. Jesus was not only concerned with moments that drew attention. His care reached into the ordinary spaces of family life. Peter's mother-in-law is not even named in the passage, yet she is not invisible. Jesus sees her condition. He comes near. He touches her. He raises her. A person does not have to be famous to be seen. A problem does not have to become public before it matters. At the same time, we should not turn this story into a promise that every illness will be healed immediately if someone has enough faith. The passage does not teach that. Peter's mother-in-law does not give a speech proving her faith. Others speak to Jesus about her, and Jesus acts. Across the Bible, faithful people still experienced sickness and weakness. So this story should never be used to blame someone who remains ill. We should not say, if your faith were stronger, you would already be healed. The focus here is not the strength of the woman's faith. The focus is Jesus. He has authority over the fever, and he has compassion for the person suffering from it. The people in the house also show us something simple about care. They told Jesus about her. Luke says they asked him on her behalf. Sometimes a suffering person can ask for help. Sometimes they cannot. Illness, grief, or exhaustion can make even a simple request difficult. In those moments, others can notice, pray, ask what is needed, and offer practical help. Prayer and practical care are not enemies. Love can do both. Jesus then went to her. Mark's description is especially personal. He took her by the hand and helped her up. The hand that had authority in the synagogue is now extended gently toward a sick woman. Power and tenderness are not separated in Jesus. His authority is not used to make the suffering person feel smaller. It is used to restore. Luke says Jesus rebuked the fever. That wording may sound unusual, but Luke does not say the fever was a demon. In the previous scene, he clearly identified an unclean spirit. Here, he describes a fever. The gospel distinguishes the two. So we should not conclude that every sickness is caused by an evil spirit. That distinction matters. Physical illness should be treated responsibly, and mental health struggles should not automatically be labeled as spiritual oppression. Faith does not require us to reject medical or professional help. The compassion of Jesus should make us more careful with suffering people, not more careless. There is another important detail after the healing. Peter's mother-in-law got up and served them. All three synoptic gospels mention her service. But we should understand the order correctly. She did not serve in order to be healed. She was healed, and then she served. Grace came first. Service followed. Jesus did not say, "If you promise to serve, I will heal you." He restored her first. Her service came from a life that had been given strength again. Grace is not a transaction in which we pay God back. Service is not a fee charged for mercy. It is a response that can grow from gratitude and restoration. The woman had been unable to take part in the life of the household. Now she could stand again. She could participate again. She could care for others again. We often think of miracles as dramatic interruptions of normal life. But here the result of the miracle is a return to normal life. She rises. She serves. The household continues. Restoration does not always mean becoming impressive. Sometimes it means being able to do ordinary things again. To stand, to eat, to work, to care for someone. The gospel does not record a speech of gratitude from Peter's mother-in-law. Her restored life becomes the response. She gets up and serves. This story also challenges the way we measure what is important. We often notice what happens in large gatherings. Public teaching feels important. Visible miracles feel important. But Jesus moves from the synagogue to a house without treating the house as less significant. The needs of one family are not beneath him. There is also a lesson for those who care for others. The people in the house could not heal the woman themselves. They could not control the outcome. But they did what they could. They brought her need to Jesus. We also cannot control every outcome. We may pray for someone and still walk with them through a long illness. We may seek treatment and still face uncertainty. Care does not require control. Sometimes faithfulness means bringing the need to God, seeking wise help, and staying near even when we cannot make everything better. This passage gives no permission for false promises. We should not tell suffering people that a particular result is guaranteed when Scripture has not promised it. But neither should we conclude that their pain is too small to matter. The story also invites us to examine our response to grace. When grace restores us, where does that restored strength go? Someone who has received patience may learn to become more patient. Someone who has been forgiven may begin to forgive. Someone who has been carried through weakness may become gentler with the weak. Again, this is not repayment. It is fruit. Peter's mother-in-law does not become important because she serves. She was important while she was lying sick. Jesus cared for her before she could do anything for anyone. Her value did not depend on usefulness. Only after receiving care did she return to service. This protects us from turning Christian service into a measure of human worth. The sick, elderly, disabled, exhausted, or grieving person does not become less valuable because they cannot do what they once did. Jesus' compassion comes before productivity. A person can be loved while receiving instead of giving. Needing help does not erase dignity. Jesus did not treat weakness as an embarrassment. He moved toward it. We may also notice that no elaborate ceremony is described. Jesus does not perform for the household. The accounts are simple. He came near. He touched her. He rebuked the fever. She was healed. Compassion does not need an audience. Some of the most loving acts happen where almost no one sees them. A hand held beside a bed. A quiet prayer. A meal brought to a tired family. A person choosing to stay rather than hurry away. We do not possess the healing authority of Jesus in ourselves, but we can imitate his willingness to notice suffering and move toward the person who needs care. This scene also gives us a balanced picture of Jesus' authority. In the synagogue, his authority silenced an unclean spirit. In the house, his authority confronts a fever and restores a woman. The same authority is present. but the tone is different. One scene is public and dramatic. The other is private and gentle. Jesus is not only the one who confronts darkness, he is also the one who enters a home and cares for someone lying sick. His strength does not make him distant. His greatness does not make small needs invisible. At the same time, prayer does not mean passivity. If someone is ill, seeking medical care can be an expression of responsibility and love. Trusting God and using available help do not have to oppose each other. The compassion we see in Jesus should move us toward wise care. The story of Peter's mother-in-law is short. That is part of its power. Jesus enters. He sees. He comes near. He heals. She rises. She serves. His authority is strong enough to heal and gentle enough to come close. His attention reaches one person inside one ordinary home. And his grace restores life rather than merely creating a moment of amazement. The goal of restoration is not always to become extraordinary. Sometimes grace gives us strength to return to the quiet responsibilities of life. To care, to participate, to love, to serve. And when we are the ones still lying down, unable to do those things, this story reminds us that our worth has not disappeared. Before this woman served anyone, she was the one receiving care. That is where the story begins. Not with her usefulness, with her need, and with the compassion of Jesus. May we today bring even the quiet and ordinary pains of our lives to Jesus without shame. Learn to notice the hidden suffering around us. Receive care with humility when we are weak, and allow the grace we have received to grow into gentle service for others.